So everyone, despite our best efforts, we are here, and for the fifth time now, we're dead again. Season 3 of the Concord. What the heck?
We're dead.
A lot of people asking, why? And I say, why not? My name is Molly, and I am the game master for this epic adventure through my world of Graduil, through the story of Hirja surging north. And one of my friends plays with me. 3 of my friends play with me in this game.
I hope we're all your friends.
One of your friends and 2 people that you could take.
One of my friends.
Yeah, right?
Which one is the friend? You decide.
Hey, vote in the comments below. Who is Molly's friend?
Vote now on your phones.
Text in to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We've been leaving clues. We've been leaving clues throughout the episodes. Every episode has another clue. Watch them all.
If you rewatch season 1, at first blush, it might look like we didn't know what we were doing, but we were just really seeding a lot of clues for the Who's Molly's Friend content.
All of that is going to come back.
I have a friend, and she lives out west, and she lives by some mountains, and she has a cat sitting beside her.
It's me and Winston.
Oh, it wasn't me?
I mean, maybe.
I have all those things.
Easily confused by my own identity, so I don't know. Could have been you. Hi, I'm Scarlett. I will be playing Odd today, and his pronouns are he, him, and my pronouns are she, her.
And you might be playing someone else?
I might. Oh, I wasn't sure if I would be or not. I might also be playing another character named Bay.
Bay?
Their pronouns are they, them, and my pronouns are still she, her.
Wait, was Bay was Bay a character we introduced last season?
No, you've never met Bay. Well, unless you watched Shadow of the Daggerlands, of course.
All right. Next is my friend from the Pacific Northwest.
My name is Adora. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Celestrina, who also uses she, her pronouns.
The queen of the caterpillars. Always with a caterpillar in her pocket, and she's always happy to see you.
I feel like the caterpillars are secondary to the butterflies. Like, it's a very butterfly focused. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's caterpillars around.
I have not gotten that impression from Celestrina.
You know, what? All my stuff is butterfly themed. The caterpillars are butterfly themed.
The caterpillar is the comic foil to all the shadowy butterflies.
Yeah, exactly. The caterpillar is like...
Are the butterflies, in fact, caterpillar themed?
Huh. And an interesting, the philosopher of the group, somebody who likes to stare into death and ask himself big questions. And equally, his player.
Like, what came first? The butterfly or the caterpillar?
In fact,
there's a real easy question first. Here.
It's true.
Well, yeah. So I'm Isabel. Hi. My pronouns are she, her. I play Kendall Visalen, and I usually will be talking in a German accent or a Germanic accent. It's not really from Germany. It's just something that I kind of pulled together. Because
we have a lot of Strahd trauma here on
we sure do.
The table. A lot of cursive Strahd trauma.
While my pronouns are she, her, Kendall's pronouns are he, him.
And you see the lovely art on screen by our wonderful artist, Pikachu. So shout out to Gigi. Make sure you hit her up for a commission if you haven't.
In the right
I'd shout out that she's at a Renaissance fair, but it's going to be well over by the time this gets published. So in summer 2026, you should go to the Maryland Renaissance Festival, ?
That's a good one.
It is.
A solid advice regardless.
Anyway, yeah, if you want like a really cool temporary tattoo, I think that's what she's doing there. And look at this beautiful heart. And also she can predict your haircut 6 months from now, which I think is pretty sick.
It's honestly spooky.
It is. Speaking of things that are spooky, I love that we had the siren in the background right as that happened. Did y'all hear that?
Ooh,
A
no,
little.
heard that,
It was
yeah.
quiet, but we heard it.
I thought that was a sound effect you were doing. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I'm
I was
good, I'm
like,
not
do we have a
that good
soundboard this season?
yet. We're coming up soon, but it'll only be ducks quacking. It
the
has
only thing I
been
want.
12 nights since Rakluanji, the uncollared emerald dragon, descended upon what remains of the crew of the Foriolis and their 2 Eladrin friends. After witnessing a harrowing vision of the crown jewel of the ancient civilization Estipena reduced to ash and eldritch radiation, Hirja, the leader of a void cult, presented each member of the crew an offer. Her hand was knocked away by misfortune's favored child, again by he who stares deeply into the darkness of the afterlife, and finally by the twice sworn Fey Wanderer. As the gauntlet was raised a 4th time, the stout boxer found himself wandering from home to home, found Hirja's words to ring true. He raised his hand and shook the gauntlet. Llewellyn was cagey at first. Each day of sailing back to his home city of Atina'o, things seemed to devolve. As Kendall slipped in and out of visions, and his trances were often interrupted by excerpts of Llewellyn's internal dialogue. Memories. There was always a bed, but never a home, not for you, echoes the voice of Hirja. Trust that they will ask further about your pact, and they will use this information against you. And then, hearing the voice of Llewellyn, they don't even offer me community? Even Celestrina's keeping me at arm's distance. Why should they think less of me? By the 6th day of the voyage, Llewellyn had nearly shut down completely. When Odyssey and Celestrina attempted to approach him, he snapped at them loudly. There's no belonging among you. You judge me, just like they did back on the island. I know it. By the 9th day, Llewellyn had nearly stopped eating, and no longer chose to trance with the other elves. Annoyed by Jenkins flitting through his quarters on the ship, crackling beams of eldritch energy would radiate through the floating hands as they attempted to recover items from his immediate area. These uncontrolled bursts began to inflict more and more damage on the hull of this already heavily damaged ship. As the party attempted to communicate and bargain with him to preserve the ship as it drew ever closer to home, his eyes grew inky, and his communication even more muddied and concerning. After day 9, the party decided that he needed to be restrained to prevent him from setting off an eldritch eruption that would surely see this ship at the bottom of the ocean. In this time, Kendall's trances became interrupted by a dark figure with a burning medallion, the symbology scratched across it, glowing in a sickly greenish gray. The markings, reminiscent of the markings in the clearing after witnessing Zeosug's sacrifice back on the island of Nomananji. A deep scratching, scraping, and undulating noise move in a rhythmic pattern. Kendall has visions of a resplendent moonstone set into a short of stature figure's head. Our discoveries will bring the boastful Admors to its knees and create a paradise for our people. Then, early on the 12th morning, Kendall gets one last glimpse into the goings-on in Llewellyn's mind. Hearing his voice echo out, "I will recover what is lost, no matter the cost." The small Eladrin ship drags quietly into the now familiar docks of Adorablue. The party disembarks slowly, with a shackled and gagged Eladrin in front of them. His eyes, once green and full of life, now deep and inky. His skin, once a brilliant peach, now a deep grayish blue. His long brown locks, shocks of white. He was always a delinquent, but it was never this. After meeting briefly with leadership, a group of high elves and Eladrin clerics run forward to meet them. Magics. They send volleys of magics to attempt to rend Hirja from Llewellyn's mind. All of this to no avail. Norkel Aerith, the regal drow with the evil eye pin on his lapel, and his counterpart, Fallred from the Mithril Watch, huddle around a slightly shaky table at a familiar, if maybe memories laden with songs of cheese, tavern in Adorablue. A large group of miners sit further in the main area. The clinking of ale, the clinking of tankards, and the rowdy, boisterous noise don't seem to overshadow the heaviness of this moment for the crew of the Foriolus. Norkel turns to Celstrina, Odyssey, and Kendall and says, "You know I don't say this lightly, but I don't see what we can do to help him besides put him out of his misery."
What?
"I don't know what else we can do." "What say you? What hope does he have?"
Odd looks, it's like heartbroken. He's stricken with grief that this is happening, and he does not approve of the chaining of Llewellyn. He's going along with it because he understands the necessity in terms of safety, but he does not like that this is happening. And I think he just he looks heavy and sad. And he turns and says, "Did you know that by number, your body is made mostly of hydrogen atoms? And those hydrogen atoms were created in the first milliseconds of the beginning of the universe. We will find a way."
I'm open to suggestions, but just an abstract saying we'll find a way. I'm not sure I can trust you with it.
No, of course not. But actually, I do think I have someone we can talk to. Like I said before, pacts like this are something I know a thing or two about, and, well, let's just say I had to learn them from someone.
Okay, let's go. Who is it?
Is this someone who could give him the guidance he needs? Because I know that there is someone else trying to guide him in another direction.
I can't promise anything, but we have to try something. We can't just give up. I mean, I've known him for years.
I agree we should not just give up, but What do you have?
We can talk to my acquaintance, Aaron. They live in not too far from here, actually. In order to get there, we have to spend some time in some areas which are a little bit less fully integrated into this realm, but not too much. It's just sort of borderland areas. We don't have to go anywhere that out of the fold.
Perfect, let's go now. And Odd just starts like grabbing stuff, like he's just gonna like jump off the side of this boat and go there.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, we're in the
For once, I agree with that.
Oh, we were in the tavern.
Okay, and Falred is gonna stand up and be like, but you just surely this can wait until tomorrow. You intend to take him with you?
Celstrina like looks at like exchanges glances with Odyssey, exchanges glances with Kendall about the idea of waiting until tomorrow.
The issue with transporting him is that I don't think he's safe. I don't think he's safe for himself. I don't think he's safe for the others around him. Is this something that we can talk to this person and perhaps bring back some wisdom, or does he need to meet this person?
He definitely needs to meet, but I think he could probably be convinced to come back here and speak to him.
I think we should just take Llewellyn with us. Time is of the essence. We've seen what Hirja can do, and I'm not losing someone else. We need to act now.
Well, especially if we can get a little bit of assistance taking care of him and keeping us all safe, but otherwise I do understand the concerns.
What kind of help would you need?
Well, maybe like some very powerful sleeping potions would be helpful.
I do not know that sleep is the best way to do this. No, I'm serious. A lot of the visions that I have been having seem to be... I'm receiving them in the time that the dreaming would happen. I can only imagine that whatever connection there is strengthened when the waking world isn't around to distract.
Also, you see, when you say sleeping potions, everyone looks at you like points at their ears and is like, sleeping?
Oh.
Yes.
Meditation is like
sleeping potions.
So I mean,
you heard me. None of us have ever slept before, except for those times that we needed to go under for an operation or something and took a sleeping potion. I don't know. I think that makes sense for elves to have. It makes more sense for elves to have than for us, right? Because then it's more special.
Okay.
I also feel like for elves,
sleep.
Some deep meditation, like elves got a dream, right? So like some deep meditations is when they get those visions.
Yeah, it must
right?
be. It must be the dreams are a trance thing. So maybe there are sleeping potions that are maybe elves don't dream when they're like knocked out unconscious.
Dreamless trance.
No, dreamless sleep.
Yeah,
like they're unconscious.
I believe me, I understand what you're asking me, and I can give you something. I have some drow poison that should be able to knock him out.
But it's not going to hurt him, though.
No, not that much.
He'll
kind of reach in and palm you some drow poison.
Don't worry, he's had worse. Trust me.
That I believe. So, what would you like to do?
Odd is gonna try and get preparations going to get us out of here as quickly as possible. Which isn't to say that we have to leave now, but that's Odd's priority.
So are we all sitting?
Sorry, Odyssey stands up and starts like putting papers in. You see him pick up like a box out of the bottom of his pack and kind of set it on top. And you see him like reach on across the table and like pick a couple leaves off a garland and shove it in a box.
Has anyone seen Josephine?
Kendall.
How are we all sitting around a table in this tavern? Yeah. How are we seated? Like, I know so we have Fall Red, we have us, and we have what's this? The name I'm forgetting the name. Nordical, that's right. So it's the 5 of us around the table?
Yes.
Where's Fall Red in relation to Kendall?
Right next to him, of course.
Okay. I think Kendall would be very deep in thought and might, without even considering it, start leaning on Fall Red a little bit as he's just thinking about how we're going to do this, how to be safe about it, that kind of stuff. Like, as the conversation kept going, he started out like sitting up and then like sort of a little bit dissociated as he was thinking and just started leaning towards Fall Red.
Come here, oh, well, he's not Irish. Hey, handsome, come here. It's gonna be okay. Don't worry. You go see Aaron. I know it's gonna be all right. We're gonna get through this. Llewellyn's gonna be just fine, I'm sure. And
I'm concerned about Llewellyn, yes. I am also concerned about the ramifications of something like this happening for all of us.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Everything has been insane this month.
Well, meeting you was at least a highlight.
I can say the same.
How are we going to do this, Farred?
One day at a time.
This boy's made a stupid decision, rashly, and the weave is breaking. I don't know what to do.
Well, somehow, I mean, I don't doubt you, but you've managed to bring down a lot of what she's built over these past over this month. So if anybody can undo what she's done again, you're probably the best shot.
And Kendall's just going to quietly, under the table, put his hand on Fall Red's and just hold his hand.
And he kind of gives you a couple like pulsing squeezes. Like, yeah. You're safe. Odyssey, before you go, I need to pull you aside. I need to ask you for a couple things. We got a ship going to Nilmananji's Island coming up soon, and I got to get some of the stuff from you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, whatever you need.
And so you'll see Norcal will pull Odyssey into a back room quickly. Anything Celstrina's up to?
I don't think so. Right, cool. I will go get ready and head out. We can, if it's just the 4 of us, caterpillars can carry Llewellyn. Sorry, I forgot the name.
Llewellyn can walk.
Llewellyn is getting poisoned.
Oh, you're gonna poison him. You're not gonna give him a chance. You're poisoning him and then taking him.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
All right.
What we're gonna do? Just let him walk around in the city?
That's fair. That's valid. So y'all poison Llewellyn. You go to his.
Okay. We knock him out.
You knock him out. You will go to. You make.
Listen, we're anesthetizing the boy.
Yeah. You make your way through the city to the office of the Mithril Watch. And Forehead walks alongside you, kind of holding Kendall's hand the whole time. And you make your way down into a basement there. where you see Llewellyn kind of shackled in his own cell, and has a really tight rag pulling his mouth open. And these inky black eyes are kind of seething. The guards will let you in, and you're just gonna walk up to him and hypodermic Star Trek, give him the
No,
blast?
is he
How are you
eating?
gonna do
We're
it?
getting it in the food.
Okay, you're gonna slip it into the food. All right, cool. So during his next mealtime, he'll go down. He doesn't eat very much, but he eats a little bit, and it's enough to knock him out. And you see Celestrina come down with a army of caterpillars, about 3 caterpillars with ant strength, and they pick up this very muscular.
The caterpillars have 13 strength, so I think a couple is enough.
Yeah. What? The caterpillars are stronger than the average member party.
They're undead, you know. Yeah, that's right. The only one who's stronger than the caterpillars, individual caterpillars, is me. Everybody else is weaker. You all, each of you tries to carry Llewellyn, and then you both get really tired, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, whatever. And then I have my caterpillars take over.
So you see there's just kind of a trail of mason jars with that used to hold caterpillars kind of falling behind Celestrina.
No, I mean, it's the same jar every day unless it dies.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's them reusing the same physical dead bug.
So they've kind of Llewellyn is wrapped in this caterpillar's silk and is being dragged along behind them. So you make your way out of the city and you get some looks from the guards. You get some looks. But you continue to make your way. And after you clear the city walls, you look out over the ocean again, kind of this never ending peaks and crests and everything that you've been dealing with for the last 12 days. And you turn towards the mountains and make your way towards the last place you knew Aaron Craxus to live. You make your way into the woods as you look up at the 3 tall mountains, and you have memories of badgers with dynamite, and you have memories of your friend. Oh my gosh, what was your old character's name? Adora?
Me?
Yeah.
Karis?
You have memories of Karis nearly tripping over a giant in the mining camp as you're walking through these woods under different but equally dark situation. And kind of the shifting seasons, which was rapid when you were here during Nocio Rahegua, during the planar equinox, is still there but slow. So you end up actually getting cold when winter blows by you. Not by you, but okay. And you eventually arrive to a small wooden house in a setback area. There's probably about a 30-yard clearing around it, small shack in the backyard, and there's smoke coming out of the chimney. What would you like to do?
There's smoke coming out of the knock?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, who is it?
The absolute last person that you want to see.
Oh, great. Hi, Celestrina. Have you made another pact? And this door swings open, and you see this. You see an eladrin with kind of a greenish skin and spring flowers running out of his hair, and he looks at Celestrina with an inquisitive eye and says, "A third pact? Really?"
I miss you too, darling. No, I'm not that stupid. Unfortunately, we need your help with a friend of mine.
Oh, so you got a friend to do it for you. That's so wonderful. I'm so happy you're here. Well, bring them in.
Or we're just standing awkwardly next to Celestrina while this conversation is happening.
Oh, I've never met you before. Oh, you're the ones from Nosira. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Come on in. Yep.
Kendall looks at Odd, like,
Okay.
These are some new friends of mine. You can we can do introductions inside.
I didn't
Awkwardly
know you
shuffle.
were. I knew you were interplanar. I didn't know you were international, Celestrina.
You didn't know? Well, I can't be held down that much from one place to another, one pact to another, as you know.
Understood. So they'll shuffle you all inside, and there's a cauldron of something boiling. Smells vaguely foodish, but equally could be a potion. You're not really sure. There's a really profound amount of crystals, as well as kind of a planar orrery that is hanging in one corner of the house by a window.
I missed the smell of this place.
You have some weird tastes, but I already knew that. And then as the caterpillar, like probably about 20, 30 feet behind, because it's been lugging Llewellyn along the ground for like an hour.
And I feel like caterpillars are not known for their speed.
Yeah.
We do not mean to disrespect Llewellyn in this.
They have the same speed that we do.
Oh, really?
And more strength than you.
That's true. That's true.
So,
actually, no, they are slower. I was wrong. They're definitely like slightly slower.
Yeah. So about a minute later, after you knock the door, the caterpillar, just like you've never seen a caterpillar huff. This little shiny kind of black and gold caterpillar.
I think the caterpillars, if you don't mind, are like oil slick.
Oil slick. Okay.
They're like shiny,
the back
like
of a pigeon.
They're like shiny, like that's not really what I was thinking. I was thinking like, you know how you can get the anodized like metal forks that are like purple and rainbow and stuff. It's like that.
So this caterpillar comes in, and as the firelight flickers off of its multicolored back, it looks at Celestrina, and it puffs itself up, and it goes without that noise. It's completely silent, and you see like a small amount of kind of like fey shimmer come out with the huff, as it kind of inches slowly over to the corner, hangs itself upside down, and takes a nap. And so as this happens, Aaron will walk over to Llewellyn and peel open his eyes. So, why is he wrapped in silk and unconscious?
Oh, the silk.
Do you have something to tell me?
Excuse me. The silk was just so he'd be comfy on the ride here, actually. The unconscious part, that one maybe we should tell you, if you get my drift.
Did you use one of those? Did you use it? Is that what
No. Come on. You have no faith in me. Listen, honestly, I feel like, okay, wait. It's, I would say it's a classic all or nothing God situation, like a class 3A, but
God, is it the God? Do we really know?
Right.
God?
It could be a 4A. I'm not really sure. I was hoping you could we
You
can
were
tell you
an
what we know.
entity.
You were always great at classifying things. That's something I really appreciate about you. And he runs over and he grabs a spell book, and you see him grab like a handful of chalk. And first he kind of takes a little bit and says, "Doesn't this look familiar?" And then we'll start shaking it on the ground as he prepares a ritual cast, trying to detect whatever is going on.
As this is happening, I think Odd is just like exchanging very baffled looks with Kendall, or at least sending Kendall a lot of like, "What?"
Kendall is sending them right back, and also Kendall is like looking around at all. Like, I assume there's like a lot of tchotchkes and stuff around, right?
I'm gonna peach tchotchke.
So I'm imagining maximalism over here, where tchotchkes line the walls
And crystals and stuff.
Yeah,
Lots of
And-
tapestries.
I feel like Kendall is going between catching Odd's looks, shooting equally confused ones back, and staring at various tchotchkes, trying to figure out: is this decor? Is this a spell component? Is this an item of arcane use? Is this just somebody's cute glass blowing project?
So you see, your eyes end up focused on a few things. The first one is you see the smallest, probably working replica shovel that you've ever seen. Like, it is probably about this big, but you can tell it's very shiny metal. Yeah, it's just a little toy shovel. The next one is it's clearly the toe of a giant. Like, you've been around enough giants to know what it is, but it's got like in like coal, it's got like a face drawn on it, and it's got like a straw coming out of its head as like a doll.
Oh, I was imagining like
Okay.
a Wilson from Castaway situation.
Like points that one out to Odd and just mouths, "What?"
Odd's like, oh, go ahead, Molly. Oh, Odd's just like, yeah, lovely home that you have here.
Yeah, you almost sound sincere there. Celestrini, your friends are a treat.
I used so many crystals.
You
I like
crystals.
I feel treated every day. That is of a retreat style treat.
I'm so happy for you. And he like these runes on the ground start to erupt into this bright blue light as he's standing over Llewellyn in this moment. You see him kind of bend down and like peel open Llewellyn's eyes.
I don't like that.
Peel open Llewellyn's eyes and be like, "Boo!" and then he'll look at Celestine and be like, "Remember that? Remember that? Yeah, you do. All right." Anyway, he'll look
Odd
back
laughs
down.
extremely uncomfortably.
Kendall,
Yeah, very normal.
Kendall does not laugh. Kendall just like focuses on trying to keep his mouth from doing the.
I just want everyone to know I am petting the tired caterpillar.
Good.
Oh.
So he will pull it back. He will pull the eyelids back, and like you see, normally you pull the eyelids back. Sometimes the eyes are kind of rolling around, or they're completely rolled back. In this case, kind of like no matter where he moves the eye, it's inky black, and he's kind of like he's looking at it. And he places his hand, and you can see like in this moment, like he's doing this with some intention. He places his hand in the square of Llewellyn's chest, and his hand rests there. And he's sitting there, and he says, "Wow, Celestrini, you really did a number on him. Which lord of the underworld is this?"
Celestrina exchanges glances with her companions.
Odd leads over to Kendall and goes, "This is so awkward, right?"
Actually,
Yes.
to be honest, I think
We do not actually know that it is the Lord of the Underworld. We don't know what the entity's origins are.
if anything, Kendall's the one who'd be able to give you specifics on this deity, I think.
Is it a deity? We know it's an entity.
Being. Entity, sure.
Well, I've never seen anything like this. I've read something about something like this
I would love to know what you have read.
a long
There is
time
a-
ago.
She calls herself like the mother of dragons.
Oh, now you've got him started. We'll
Right,
never get
right.
out of here.
Well, so
Um,
here's what we know, and then you tell me us what you know, and then maybe they line up, and hopefully that is nice and good, and we can move forward. And if not, then it is what it is. But she calls herself the mother of dragons, correct, Odd?
Yep.
That is the one you just said? And
Yeah. She's got at least 2 green dragons under her control. And baby dragons. Baby dragons.
She's being worshipped by some kind of cult that has come to power amongst the giants. And I use she because that's what the giants are using, but who knows if this entity even subscribes to pronouns. There's also an
like,
issue.
Aaron is packing a pipe.
vis-a-vis around any rituals that have been done to worship this entity. It is like a threadbare blanket in places.
Molly, what was the name of that guy who had the stand where we bought grass for Josephine from?
Oh,
do you remember?
Cut Swift. Yeah, of course I. Cut Swift.
What's his name?
Cuff.
Cut Swift? Cuff?
C-U-T-H.
That was really hard for me to get. I was just like,
Cuff.
do you know Cuff? You know Cuff?
Cuff knows me. So thank you so much for that. That really helped. So here's what I know. The only thing I've ever read about something like this is, the ever churning, big, swirling, horrible whirlpools in this near the center of the atoll. Familiar?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Well,
okay.
I read a story once about a sailor who drowned near that. And he was reported dead. Ship said he was dead, fell overboard. Shit happens. Well, a couple months later, doesn't he show up? Doesn't he show up on the Withering Archipelago?
No kidding.
Well, that's not... How's that?
He led a revolt.
And
he led a revolt on the Withering Archipelago. He looked at all those pirates and he said, yeah, let me get it. Let me organize a 4th army. This is going to go great. And they took them forever to get rid of him. I mean, he stuck around like rubber gum and hair. He did not go away. The only way that they got rid of it was killing him. But I do know his body ended up in the University of Admors. So if anyone knows anything about it, it's those... Celestina, are they cool?
well, I mean, it depends on which college at that university you're talking about. Generally, yeah, I think so.
No, I mean, like, can we be real, or...
Oh, are they
like...
cool?
Yeah, we're super cool. I'm super cool.
Celestrina,
He's super cool too.
Celestrina looks at them slowly, like
Odd's posing.
Kendall looks at Odd and Celestrina and looks at this person they're being introduced to, and is just making a face like, cool. He's never heard that word applied to him ever, unless the suffix un is right in front of it, and he's just like,
Yeah, we can be real.
All right, these absolute nerds. Oh my god. Ugh. Shut up about your arcane methods. Like, listen, we can all cast magic. It's really not a thing. Oh,
Odd immediately
wizarding history,
assumed.
all this stuff, blah blah blah. And he's like walking around, and he's like, he's gonna spout off about how he hates wizards the whole time, and he's just like,
Kendall's just
listen,
going to dissociate towards a tchotchke.
But anyways, I don't think your friend will make it to Oddmoors if you try to ship it. So if you can fly there, do something else, he's got a chance. But yeah, I've never seen anything like this. I'd say otherwise, make sure he gets plenty of exercise, lots of water, food.
We'll have to find a way to get there quickly.
Yeah, luckily
Yeah.
scrolls of teleportation grow on trees in Atuvra. It's a real capital of the world.
Yeah.
And he looks at Celstrina like,
We're going to have to probably call in some favors. I guess we'll just go back and start reaching out.
my contact. I knew a half-orc once, or an orc actually. Tall as a fucking oak. Always lied about it. And his supervisor, I remember him like drunkenly telling me about it one night, was doing research on that body. I think the guy's name, you know how they blend together. Orcs, am I right?
Oh no.
When your name is one syllable, I don't know what they expect. There's only so many you can pick.
His name was Maz, Taz, Kaz, something like that. Taz. It's got to be Taz.
Kendall just takes off his glasses.
Like so uncomfortable.
Kendall doesn't have glasses. Shit. What were you saying? Without doing?
Taz's professor Guillermo did some studies on this body, and so if there's any shot, it's those two orcs.
Guillermo. Now that's a name.
2 syllables.
That's enough
Respectful.
syllables, and also just the right amount of gargle. I love it.
Yeah, and what I like about it even more is it's not a 6-syllable mess, and it's just grills Celstrina.
Yes, 6 would be far too many syllables. 4 is clearly the best number.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat what your name was again?
I'm Aaron.
Aaron.
Praxis.
Aaron, so 2 syllables is fine, so.
Of course, it's the perfect number.
It means that's mine as well. So.
Great.
I think 1 syllable is good, so Odyssey.
Oh,
I'm a one syllable boy
saw
myself.
You with Fall Red at the wine mixer. You're Fall Red's new boy toy, aren't you?
Well, I don't know if I would call myself a toy, but we're seeing each other.
I love how red your face is right now.
It's not red, you're red.
I am. But to be
Please.
fair, I've had a lot of Cuth's fineness, so. And
So that's what you call it out here.
So, yeah, so, Celstrina, do you have any more bodies I should be expecting, or we good?
Well, hopefully this doesn't happen again, so I hope not.
Well, don't accept deals from strangers.
We
And you'll be
didn't.
great.
To be honest,
You're
it may
a stranger,
seem
and we just accepted help from you.
that's not what a
Yeah, that
stranger is. Aaron is a friend of a friend.
That's a referral.
That's exactly. that's no stranger. That's a referral.
Oh, okay. I see.
Guillermo will be the same.
So, Aaron will try to chew Celestrina's ear off with stories about his most recent trips to other planes and to kind of talk about like his most recent parties in the Feywild, or in the courts of the Shadow Fae, just like hanging out with the Drow and other cool Ladrin from the Feywild, until you absolutely cut him off.
Oh yeah, we're just getting up and leaving. Like Celestrina is kind of like making her way out while he talks, and like the other two are maybe like looking at her, and she's just like,
well, fine. Clearly, I've missed you so much. Please come again soon.
It's been lovely. I very much appreciate your help, and I will try to visit soon, assuming the world still exists next week.
Oh, if not this world, there's always others, right?
Well, I live in that one, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope that everything goes okay.
I am going to...
That feels almost like you're trying to be sincere on that one, so I'll take it.
Yes.
I'm going to animate another caterpillar. So this time instead of 2, there's 3, and it's easier.
All right, so 3 caterpillars, very beleaguered. The first 2 barely waking up. Start lugging Llewellyn's inanimate body through the woods.
Friendship is magic.
With magic. And you make
magic is friendship when you are a necromancer.
That's
if
also
you're
true.
Kendall.
I do not make friends with the magic.
Strictly business relationship with your book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got to keep those boundaries.
Mm-hmm. 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 Amen.
For mental health, you know.
Yeah. Warlocks are big on boundaries, but also big on making friends with their magic.
So as the party chats about friendship and magic and professionalism and necromancy, they arrive back to the gates of Tuvra'a just as the sun is cracking down over the edge of the city, is coming down over the edge of the city, casting a brilliant hue, a brilliant late evening pinks, blues, and oranges into the sky. And that you walk in to the city, and it almost in that moment it kind of gives you those memories of Nosiora Hegwa and
Nosiora Hegwa!
Nosiora Hegwa Pora, baby.
Oh, by the way, what was the spell that Aaron cast?
It was a ritual of something.
Okay, that's fine.
It was
It's fine. Let's just assume it was like a 3rd level spell, you know.
It was like a 4th or 5th level spell.
Yeah,
it was a very
something
experienced
intense.
ritualist.
So
it was a ritual of Fey patronage.
Yeah. So you arrive back, and the miners have made their way. The extraction economy specialists have made their way out of the bars, and you will return to the Flaxen Flame, where you've been set up again after saving the island and then saving another island. They're still putting you up at the cheap pine wood bar.
Did we save another? Oh yeah, we did save another island. I was gonna say, I was like, we didn't save that island. We kind of invaded it and took it over. But we did that to save a 3rd island.
Yep.
I'm getting stuck in the Celestrina voice. I gotta practice.
So, you'll arrive back. You know that Norcal. Where would you be headed in the city? You try just to deposit Llewellyn's body back with the Mithril Watch, and
I think that we would report back to Norcal and Falred and let them know what we heard.
Okay.
Can we try and solicit transport from our army connections? Our military connections?
I think I think we should start by just reporting back and then see what they say, because maybe they'll have ideas.
Sure.
Well, he sounds like a real piece of work, this Aaron. What a professional that you've made friends with, Celestina.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
Sounds like a real treat of a person. Well,
more like a retreat with how far in the woods he lives.
One man having drowned a couple hundred years ago doesn't really inspire faith in me. Do you think that this is worth chasing down?
Listen, I have only been traveling together with Llewellyn for a few years, but I've grown to care for the boy, and it seems like this is the only thing that we can come up with. And to be honest, being at a university is probably not the worst plan for trying to solve an unsolvable problem, even if this particular lead doesn't fully pan out. Having an in there, having a connection with somebody who can help us do that research could be a good plan B. So I think so.
Great. Well, I can write to Aithiani and see if they can send a sage, send one of the watchers down here to get you teleported up to Tadmurs, to the university. I think they have a friendly relationship where they use their teleportation circle there from time to time. So I can absolutely get that organized for you.
Would you be able to get in touch with that contact while you're at it?
Who's that?
Guillermo, yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I could. What you want us call sending? You want to send something to her? I can give you that.
Oh yes. We could take care of that later. I would love that.
Great. He reaches into his bag and will hand you a scroll sending.
Cool.
Great. So, and Norcal will kind of step back. Kind of you're in this kind of shared office space where this is kind of like a frontline office, and Norcal and Fallred are kind of sharing a communal space. And he'll step back. He'll do some writing into one of the journals that Kendall and Odyssey recognize immediately as kind of one of their sending report journals, right? And he says, "Oh well, the Silver Spear say that they can send somebody tomorrow. So that they'll have somebody come here and then they'll give you a circle. So I'd get your stuff together, whatever you need from here on the island before you go, and be ready tomorrow morning. We'll kind of point his head towards where Llewellyn is being kept. We'll have him ready for you in the morning. Do you want him asleep again?"
I think that would be wise, at least for one more day.
Well, he seems strong enough. He's a big enough boy, as you put it.
If he's one thing, yes. I have one more contact I need to go and hunt down in the city before we depart, so I will go and do that.
All right. So unless anybody has any, and then Norcal will kind of say, if Celestina, do you step away?
Yes.
All right. So he'll grab Kendall and Odyssey, and he'll say, "Listen, while you're in, we've been working with the ambassador of Estepena to convince the Admursian government, the Council of the Blade, to mobilize its troops in advance of Hears' forces. We know they're going north. Early indications are that Uruhanu, the Dagger of the Sands, and Treskor, the Bay's Blade, are going to block joint military action. They think that Estepena provoked the attack on their country, and they seem to be denying the scale of the destruction that you say you've witnessed. The ambassador
That
is
must be
requested.
very convenient for them.
The ambassador has requested your help figuring out what the hell's going on. From what I've heard, they've identified a local to give you your bearings. Their name is Bayou. Little halfling blondie. Little ball of sunshine. I'm sure it's going to be awful. Meet with the ambassador. Meet Bayou. See what they can do. Maybe Bayou can help with your friend, with Llewellyn. I don't know. Just don't let him get in anything worse. Please.
That is our goal. Our goal is to try our best to not allow Llewellyn to get into anything worse and see if we can reverse maybe or gain some control over what's already happened. I mean, at the end of the day, Llewellyn is making the choices Llewellyn thinks is alright. But the influence over Llewellyn is what's very scary.
I agree. I think that is the most threatening thing that is going on. So we don't know what he can tell her or what she already knows. Is there anything else? Would you have relayed all of the details about all of your visions?
I think so. I think Kendall is being open because he doesn't know what's going on and he wants more eyes on the problem.
So I don't know what he meant by when he said returning what was stolen. But I think just for safekeeping, I'm taking the amulets over to the Isle of Nilmananji. I think it's safer that way.
Of course.
This egg that you found, this red dragon egg, it seems to be inert. I think it's dead.
Does that make sense? Eggs are not always viable for a long period of time after being laid.
We can see what we can do with it. We can bring it to...
Can I just do insight? Is that for he's being for cereal?
That
he's there's no deception going on here.
As you're looking at him, you're kind of studying his face. He's speaking about as straight as an Aerith ever speaks.
Okay.
He's speaking straight as an Aerith.
Hey. Okay. Sorry, continue. We could do what with it?
I can take it if anybody knows what to do with it. Nilmananji will. But who knows? Who knows what she'll be able to do once we release the first two seals? I need you desperately to find the third one, though. We don't know. We'll need the help of whatever the hell she can do for what's going to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows what they found north? They're talking about discoveries. Who knows what the hell Hirsch has found? She has all this power coming out of nowhere. The last long patrol didn't end up as nearly as bad as what y'all. They just came back bored and tan. They looked awful.
So that is an excellent point. The power seems to be coming out of nowhere. These holes that she's making in the weave, could she be using those?
It's possible. I really don't know. The sages, they don't know. Every time they looked into this part of history, every time they looked forward or backward, they would hit. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the Void Crash?
No, I don't think I have heard of the Void Crash.
Silver Spear. Well, Odyssey. Well, no, you should know. Well, anyways, Odyssey.
Do we know?
Silver Spear. The Seers.
Perhaps I am simply forgetting the words. Can you just jog my memory?
Yeah, and so he'll kind of, this is the shout back to the monologue of episode 1, literally the first show. where
How dare I not remember that?
I know, right? A year and a half ago, wild.
Yeah.
You. So yeah, it's a callback to that where there's big communing rituals kind of looking forward in time, trying to do predictions like strong currents of divination magic.
Right,
and
right,
as
right.
they started to look forward, there were a couple there were occasionally in every couple generations, there would be people would look into this era of history and they would come out with their mind kind of shattered by everything that it was. So like
Right.
with this lack of information and this divination that they're typically able to do with reasonable accuracy,
Mhm.
this is something distinct and doesn't happen very often.
Right, right,
Or
right,
ever.
right, right.
These are people who have seen, a lot.
They usually can see, and the fact that they can't see is disconcerting.
Yep.
Got it.
And that they lose their minds is also disconcerting.
Well, yes, it's always disconcerting.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, man, I gotta go to bed. Got a lot going on right now, so I just I gotta go to bed. We're gonna talk to them. We're working on getting the third amulet. It's just too much stress for me. I gotta go.
Odyssey.
Uh-huh.
You're not here for no reason. It's not an accident.
I don't know how to stop it. I don't know what to do.
You're doing everything you can. Look at everything you've done in a month.
I don't think it's enough.
Hopefully it will be.
Odd just kind of like hangs his head and walks out.
The sun rises on the sparkling waters of the Bay of Atuvra'a. As the wind blows up from the customs house towards the city walls, towards the central temple of Jahan. Norkel, Mariel, the high priest of Jahan, and Fallred all make their way there. Fallred standing tall with Kendall on his arm as the mage arrives from Aithiani and begins the incantation. Fallred leans down and pulls in Kendall for a tender embrace and a quick kiss goodbye. As we, in a heap along the ground, the inky eyes of Llewellyn and the deep gray and blue skin of Llewellyn are being dabbed along by a sponge bath here in this temple, kind of built like a massive forge. And finally, running in at just the last second, is we see the beautiful red locks of Celestrina kind of shaking and getting a little bit of frizz to them as she runs through the heat of the entryway. And you see along her waist this beautiful mithril sword with large emerald spikes seeming to grow out of either side of it. This really fearsome looking blade. And this beautiful emerald insets in it that seem to stick out on either side, ready to slash enemies even deeper. Even deeper, man. And the silver spear mage, green robes, silver twin moon blades on the lapel pin, just like that of Odyssey and Kendall, spins up this high level piece of magic, drawing symbols on the ground with chalk. It glows a bright light blue and purple. And this last moment, you look out onto this temple, this of the city that's sort of been like a home base for a little while. And the heat of Jahan's furnace, of this home of craftsmen, gives way to the pounding desert heat of the Admursian sun. Even now in late autumn, the sun bakes the bricks beneath your feet. Very familiar feeling for the crew of the Foriolis, having suffered through the wind-tossed nights before the great crash. And the long sunny days with no cover. And as you sort of get your bearings, this overbearing heat is the first thing. The second thing that you see is the face of High Sage Guillermo, and you see her as the circle spins to light or starts to die down in front of her. She does one last spin on her right tusk, this ring that she keeps there that seems to be like an omnipresent fidget toy for her. And she's wearing this beautiful blue and purple robe that seems to be sheer and opaque at the same time, depending on what angle you look through it. She's got a very close cropped brown haircut. And you see her pull a bit of copper wire out of a pouch she keeps around her waist, and she says, "Taz, get down here! Let's go!" And you hear some yelling from the top floor. She says, Yeah, no, I know. I'll get someone to help you. Don't worry. And she looks up and she says, "No, you're gonna come down here and you are gonna help us." And you hear another yell down him. As Taz, you see leaning out of the window a very long and gangly orc. Looks down and you see him move his hands a few times, and from Taz's point of view, you're gonna see this little moment where it's like, "Gammy Thipa, can I have some magic, please?" And as he does that, you sort of see him for a second like this, and as he does, you see Dimension Doors cast, and he blips down next to the party. And he says, No, I got it. I got my Book of Wizards right here. I'm going to find you the perfect person to help you with whatever this is. And she says, "No, you are going to help us." And you see this orc who's a head taller than all of you, easy, just kind of like shrink. Just like the shoulders fall forward. And he says, "More of this." And he kind of sheepishly will fall in behind Guillermo. And she'll say, "Welcome to the University of Hudmors. I'm Guillermo. I'm the High Sage. Aaron connected us. Wow, your friend is in bad shape, huh?"
Yes, thank you so much for meeting with us. By the way, I just have to say, I love your robe. Blue and purple, difficult to perceive and shifting is exactly what I'm into.
Thank you. It's one of my prized possessions.
Yeah.
He is.
He's not in great shape, and we should probably, yes, like you said, get a move on. Thanks for meeting us on such short notice.
Absolutely no problem. I wrote my thesis on this kind of magic, so let's see what happens. So she'll whistle out of kind of a space between her canine and her lip, like this, and a Tensor's floating disc will lift up Llewellyn. And she'll say, "Come, quick, follow us. We'll need all of you to do this." And she'll lead you through these hallways, and there's these beautiful tile work on each of these hallways. And you see this symbol over and over again of this blue and purple book that seems, the edges of it seem to be purple, and the center of it, that the text glows blue across it and reads with a purple stem and bright green radiate out of it. And the symbology is ever present in this university as you're kind of hauling ass through it. You haven't seen anything this ornate since you left the Eternal Isle, since you left Athiani home for the members of the Foriolis. And you will come up to this room that is, it's tight and it's compact, and it seems very heavily insulated. As you kind of walk through the doorway, you see like 3 feet of wood and a bit of lead, and then the door kind of slams shut. It's like a big bank vault. And as this happens, a kind of orderly looking person in kind of like a cheaper blue and purple robe will be standing there, and they'll like verify that you're not, they'll cast detect magic on you and verify that you are who you say you are. You're not using an illusion. You're not carrying any contraband magical items in, all this stuff. And then they will allow you in. Safety first, you know. And the ritual begins in this heavily isolated room. And Guillermo lifts out a few heavy tomes, hands one to Taz, who pretends that this is the heaviest thing he's ever carried, and just looks at her, shoots daggers through her face with his eyes. And he like begrudgingly like sets it on the table, whoomp, flips it open and goes to the page and starts to chant. And Guillermo will walk over to y'all and set her arm around you and kind of show you the arcane incantation on the page and position you throughout the room, and the chanting will begin. And so as you go through this procedure, it's a half-hour-long ritual where you are invoking the waters of Admurs, this djinn of this area, and Kendall is reaching out to Kindred, and everyone is reaching for any ounce of divine intervention that they can, any ounce of magic that they can. You feel these ebbs and flows in the weave. It is, if you felt a complete dearth of magic when you were around the island of Nilmanaji, you're feeling every ounce of magic here. It's sparkling in the air around you. And Llewellyn's body sits in the center of this tremendous arcane conflux, undisturbed. He stands, shaking off the venom, and he looks directly at the High Sage as she's chanting all these invocations at him. His eyes black.
Like chanting, like, you know, I start to get nervous and like glance around at people while like continuing to chant.
He just stands, and he's just looking there, and you're seeing his face twist into rage.
So nothing at all? It's not having any effect?
Oh, he's definitely doing something.
Something is happening, but he's just showing anger.
Okay.
Is that you raising your hand, Adora?
No, that is me having chronic pain.
I think Kendall would probably be muttering a quiet prayer to Kendrick during this time. And like trying to like basically wide-eyed take in as much as he can see and see if there's anything he can figure out.
Okay. So you're studying as you're sort of chanting along. You're trying to set your focus on all the movements in this arcane conflux that's going on. And you're seeing like Taz is like so belabored by this and is panicked that something that he's doing is not working.
Right.
Things happen. When Taz asks for something to happen, he gets it. And this seems to not be going that way. And Llewellyn is bowled over and suspended by this arcane magic. By
Odd
this
is just
divine
like-
intervention.
Is there something I could like roll about it to see if I can see what might be going wrong?
By looking at it, whatever it as you are.
Do you want me to roll Arcana or something, or
No, it's just gotta. I'll give it to you.
okay?
As because you're, you are a level 6 thaumaturge. The gods care a whole lot about what you're doing now. So we're here. We're doing it. You reach out kind of through your connection with Kindred. And you feel the sand pushing back around Llewellyn. You feel this.
Like is it like an oil on water type thing?
You feel this tremendous hydrophobic reaction from the magic. It seems to just be rolling off of him. And though you are able to manipulate the body with this magic, it's not breaking into the core. It's not breaking into the spirit.
And Kendrick's gonna probably like say this under his breath, like as it occurs to him. Has his soul been rent from the weave? Has it been cut away? And he's just like staring, trying to help, but like that's his out loud thought.
And as this starts to go, as this starts to fade, and Guillermo is like 20 minutes, 30 minutes have gone by, and nothing really seems to be happening with this other than the physical suspension. She whistles again out of the side of her tooth, from between her tooth and her lip, and a number of humanoids in thick mithril masks that are all featureless, other than openings for eyes, mouth, nose, will stride in. And as the ritual ends, they will grab Llewellyn and get him back suspended, or get him back restrained. You see this a new display of magic, something that you haven't seen. You see this cage seemingly just made of force or raw arcane magic erupt around him and force him into shackles. And it's really powerful and distinct, something that's very strange to you. The way that this magic, that these mithril mask creatures are restraining him, is kind of, you're used to plucks through the weave. These kind of feel like
what are you doing?
And Taz will say, these are the Malopelu. They do their thing. They're just gonna restrain him.
Why didn't it work? What's happening?
He seems to be cut off in such a way that the magic's hitting him the way oil hits water.
So it's just rolling off?
It's not binding. Not the way magic should. When you have a magical effect on you, it binds itself to you. It won't bind to him. And since there's been the holes that Hirshar's been making in the weave, I don't know, maybe he was cut out of it.
Okay, well, how do we find, I don't know, like a magic emulsifier?
I've never even heard of one. This has never been an issue before.
And Grandma will say, the Academy, this is what I knew to do. I can consult with the Exarchs, and see if they know anything else. But academia, as well you know, is nothing if not deliberate. So we'll need to hold him here till I can speak with these other people.
So that's probably the safest. I don't know why it's coming off of him like that. It's almost like... Is there a shell? Is the nature of him changed?
But you think you can hold him here, right?
I'm going to encourage you all to spend time with him. Maybe your presence will help bring out something that we can tether to.
Of course we're going to spend time with him. We're not just going to leave him here with you.
It's not common that I let people I just met spend time in my research labs. Just so you know.
Well, it's not common that my friend suddenly becomes hydrophobic to magic that's supposed to be helping him. So, just so you know.
And we appreciate it greatly. You think that you have a research room where he can be held safely, right?
Here.
Okay.
Also, I think Odd is not accustomed to asserting himself, and he's kind of trying to puff his chest up and be a little bit more aggressive than he would normally choose to be in a social situation like this.
And Guillermo, who you're about eye to eye with, will meet your gaze.
Grandma's thick though, right? She's a wide
she
lady.
She
yeah.
Yeah, and she'll look at you and she'll say, "Understand, stranger. We know that you care. We do not suffer any illusion that you do not care for this person. We understand, and we want to help."
Odd probably just deflates a little bit. He's like, well, you said that this would help, and it doesn't seem like it's helping. So it's just I don't know. What do we do now?
We
can't just talk to people.
We express our gratitude because this means they have a place where they can hold him, which means that nobody is going to be calling for his head anytime soon while we look for other options.
Okay,
it's not ideal, but
it's better here than in a Malgaktar prison or underneath the temples with the Malopelu. I promise.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess if you guys think this is the best option.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How soon can you talk to these elder academics?
The Exarchs, I'll speak to them this afternoon and this evening. Everything has a structure, so it'll take a while. We'll try again tomorrow.
Okay. Odd just is defeated and sad.
Kendall is going to sidle up to Odd and sort of pat his back and be like, "We're going to figure it out. We're dealing with things that no one's ever dealt with before. So there's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be some confusion, but we'll figure it out. We always do, don't we?"
Yeah, I guess. And then Odd's just gonna reach down and hold Kendall's hand.
Kendall will hold Odd's hand.
Yeah.
Taz will come over and say, I'm really sorry. This got really intense. I'll see you later.
It's nice to meet you. Bye.
Thanks for your enthusiastic assistance today.
I like you. And Taz walks away. Guillermo the Malo Pelu will fix him into some magical some shackles, and will drop a rune of silence on the ground, to keep him from invoking anything too awful. And it's just out of leg's reach for him, so that he's close to the center of it, so he can't like move around too much and cause a problem. And so in this room, this bubble of silence, about 20 feet. The room, maybe it's about 30 feet side to side. So you've got space around the wall where you can speak and be normal. And otherwise. So who would like to take, as the kind of afternoon wears on, who will watch him through the afternoon?
I will do that.
Okay. So Celestrina takes this moment with Llewellyn as Odyssey and Kendall are shown off to their accommodations at the where the heck is it? Oh yeah, the Plain Snake, a market side tavern.
That's a nice one. I like that. Plain Snake.
It's this really picturesque market with alternating white and blue tiles, or white, blue, and purple tiles, as it goes across with stalls and stalls and stalls and stalls of small market vendors. Some selling agricultural goods, some selling livestock related goods, and some selling all manners of whatever you could want to buy. Things coming in from around the world.
As Odd passes these stalls, like, he stops at every sweet stall and buys a sweet for himself. And it's just like, he's sharing with Kendall. It's not a hoarding situation, but he's just like sad. He's eating his feels. He's deep in his feels right now.
And Kendall's trying to make small talk about every little thing that they're buying to try to distract Odd a little bit. Like, just like, oh, I've never had caramel with this kind of salt in it. It's pink. That kind of
Odd's
thing.
just like sadly spouting off like culinary facts about like the chemical makeup of salt and how salt crystals form.
So you're met at the door of the Plain Snake by a woman who introduces herself as Pneumonia. She is she's taller.
Pneumonia?
We both had exactly the same head tilt.
That's a very sick name she's got there.
She's a darker skinned halfling woman wearing very dated. Oh, like you've been walking around the University of Almours and you see what Ohabala robes look like, and they seem to be like maybe a few decades old. Very well kept, sure. But very old.
Sure.
And she'll quickly say, "Oh, I was so happy to hear that you that you came in and that the university felt comfortable sending you here. So happy to have you. Anything that I can do for you, please let me know." And she'll kind of set you to your room. It says, "I guess you don't sleep so much. There are beds here. I don't know if you know what they're for, but they're there."
We know what to use.
Store my sweets
there.
Oh,
great. Yes. You need something to store your sweets? And
no, I'll just put them in the bed, and then he just like dumps his arm full of
sanitary. I mean, come on.
We do clean the sheets every day. This is and it is like it is fairly nice. It's there are some beautiful brass thorns that wrap around the supporting columns around the outside, and they're dulled, but you still wouldn't want to like fall face first into them.
Right.
And they'll show you 3 kind of separate rooms where this is all set up. Kendall, make an investigation check.
Sure. Now, it's been a while since we've rolled any checks. Am I cool to use a physical die?
I encourage it.
Please.
I prefer it.
All right. So, investigation. That is going to be a 16.
Okay.
9 on the die.
So,
my smart boy.
As you sort of walk over to these brass thorns that are coming out of it, you sort of run your finger along them. And as you sort of come to the tip of one, the Mirage Arcane falls for you. And you still see what is a fairly clean room, but it is not nearly as nice as it looked before.
How so? Please tell me more.
Magical blacklight situation.
It is standard wood bed. No frills. There's no like beautiful line work or inlays in it or anything.
Yeah.
The sheets are still clean. It's
okay.
still okay, but the desk is not nice. The chair is not that comfortable. You're saying that the Mirage Arcane might have been as useful as it was misleading.
Got it. Understood. So it is not a black light will light this room up situation. It's a more, we want to put on a nice front situation.
Yeah. And so as you two settle in to kind of recover from this emotionally draining exchange, Celstrina finds herself, while Odyssey has a mouthful of caramel and rose-flavored goodies at the same time, which sounds awful to me, but maybe Odyssey is loving it.
I feel like it's
so good. The flavors just meld together so well.
I actually do feel like that could work.
Shoves a croissant in his mouth at the same time.
Celstrina finds herself alone with the restrained Llewellyn.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a silence rock in the room, but Llewellyn is awake,
which you can move.
Yeah. I think that Celstrina is feeling like pretty rough about this, but also is just gonna like sit in there. Like probably she picks up the rock and like moves it, and then like before she can say anything, Llewellyn is just like screaming at her and like somewhat incoherently, so she just moves it back and sits down and like watches sadly or whatever.
And so handful of baked goods go into Odyssey's maw as Kendall steps away from the hotel and makes his way down the crowded streets of the Thorn, the neighborhood just outside of the university, and makes his way back down the ornate hallways with the brilliant lit up neon Ohabala symbology. And you make your way back to the area. You get again checked by another hedge mage as you enter the university. Make sure you don't have any illusions on you. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you enter into the room and you relieve Celstrina, who you find kind of slumped up against a wall, kind of looking dejected.
Right. I mean, basically, he's going to do hand signals for "I'm here. You want to go?"
Yes, she just nods sadly and kind of gets up and walks out.
And one of the orderlies will walk with you to the hotel and kind of show you where it is, get you your grounds. Yeah. So, Kendall, what are you doing with your late
So he's
afternoon
fully-
into evening.
He's fully restrained, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think Kendall would have brought a notepad with him and would just be doing would be basically trying to brainstorm off of the things that he's been experiencing, the weirdness around Herja, the breaks in the weave, the way that the sand doesn't seem to be able to hit Llewellyn, and is basically doing like a word association. And he has positioned himself so that he knows Llewellyn can see all the words. And every now and then is actually, I think would be using eavesdropping to be able to like be physically pointed away from Llewellyn and writing, but have a viewpoint that is looking right at Llewellyn's face, so that he can read Llewellyn's face for any changes for any particular things he's writing down. This is like wild word association, like web of brainstorm, and he's trying to see if like anything is betraying any kind of reaction. Because right now I feel like Kendall is a little bit adrift with, there's so much information to parse through that what seems like the most promising path to follow information wise.
So yeah, take inspiration for that.
Oh, thank you.
And so you'll sit and spend your time getting this insight further into some of the things that Herja has planned, or trying to what will Llewellyn's face betray.
Right, exactly. That's what he's going for.
And you spend your 5-6 hours doing that. You get up, walk around, stretch, do some meditation on your own. Celstrina, as you're getting settled into the hotel, what do you're a stranger in a strange land, but that's nothing new to you. What are you reaching for as your first kind of like thing in a new place? What do you want to get a hold on?
Oh,
what are you immediately seeking out?
I was gonna go and talk to Taz.
Okay.
And I can explain what we talk about later.
Okay.
But I will seek out Taz.
All right. And then finally, the night, the sun dips over the Great Bay of Admurs as you walk out and you look over the evening. You see this tremendous body of water in front of you. And to your left, as you look out, which is sort of to the northeast, you see this smaller temple on this rocky island, sort of out towards the center of this river port. Two rivers. One goes out to the northeast. One goes up to the north. And in where these two meet, there is up on a rocky cliff sits a tremendous ziggurat. It's a 4-tiered ziggurat. And you see these beautiful walls that wrap all around the top of this. And these two great bridges from where you're sitting that seem to arc across the northbound river. And you make your way through this winding city, or these kind of winding back alleys, back to the university. You get swiped in by a university hedge mage really, this guy is really intent on making sure you don't have any spell scrolls of invisibility on you. That's the one thing that this person is worried about. They go through your bag for like 20 minutes trying to make sure that you have no specific spell scrolls of invisibility. You don't, and he is very intrigued by the turtle.
Name is Josephine.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, you know that their spinal cords are attached to the top of their shell, so sometimes their shells collapse, and then their spines collapse too.
Wow, that's dark.
Yeah, the
I
world
hope
is
you have a
pretty
good
dark.
night. And Odyssey, it will the mithril masked guards will swing open the door. This thick 3.5 foot wide door, and Odyssey steps in, blonde curls and autumn leaves kind of falling as his ears kind of sag downwards in this moment. And you see Celestrina, lips pursed. Or no, Kendall. You see Kendall sitting down, bright blue eyes, that obsidian hair, that used to be this bright white, like hasn't seen the sun too much. Now after 9 or 10 months out there, he's looking, that memory of Kendall as the kind of pale, out of touch high elf has really been done away with for you. So you enter the space, and what do you do?
I think I'm gonna check in with Kendall first. Just be like, how's he doing?
Has Llewellyn betrayed any? Has his face betrayed anything to me of like?
Yeah, that's what the inspiration is. I'm trying to cover with the inspiration.
Got it. Okay. Well, he's definitely in there. There's definitely the engine's on. Even though the car is, even though it's not going anywhere, but the engine's on. That's all I can really say.
Adora, are you like jumping over and over again in a video game?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm control Fing with the enter key.
Okay, well, you should probably get some rest, man. I could take over. I brought snacks.
Just don't go into the cell. I know you've been taking care of him. We don't understand what's happened to him. And we don't know how safe that would be. Please just be careful. Don't. I know you have a good heart, Odd. I just want you to be careful, okay?
Yeah.
Doing a sponge bath, for example, is going to be very difficult. So just maybe you can keep him company.
Confiscated my sponges.
Yes, well, I think at this point you want to try to keep your distance, even if you are keeping him company.
Okay,
I'm not even sure if these bonds that they have around him will really hold. If the magic was just splashing off him, you know?
Yeah, I just, it's still Llewellyn.
It's Llewellyn, but it's Llewellyn plus something else. And that something else seems to be overriding the good that we had known in Llewellyn right now. I don't want you to put yourself in danger expecting that good when it's being suppressed right now.
Odd kind of like gives a half-hearted agreement that's like very clearly the best he's gonna give you, but like very non-committal.
Okay, I'm going to go get some rest. If you need anything at all, just give a
Yeah,
holler.
I mean, there's guards like right there, dude. I'm gonna be fine.
Okay, I can't help but be worried. I've never seen anything like that before.
We're gonna figure it out. We figured out everything so far.
You're right. You're right. It's what I said to you earlier.
You were right. I thought about it. I took some time. I ate a lot of sweets. I'm feeling better.
We are going to have to probably get your teeth cleaned professionally.
No,
after
it's
this.
fine. I don't like sharp objects near my mouth. It freaks me out.
We'll talk more about this in your general health. In your general health later, okay? Okay.
Very similar non-committal answer.
Good night, Odd.
Good night.
And this thick door swings shut, and Odyssey sets down his pack with the Josephine in it. And what does he do?
He sets down the pack with Josephine. He clutches tighter the second pack full of pastries. Approaches the bars.
Okay.
So the silencing stone is on the outside. It could be moved. That's what. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's gonna move the silencing stone for sure, and kind of sidle up to the bars and be like, "Hey, bud, how's it going? I brought you some snacks."
And he's just sort of his eyes. He's just sort of staring blankly forward, his brow furrowed.
You want a croissant? I got some pain au chocolat. And he like pulls out a chocolate croissant and like reaches through the bars a little bit.
The ink that seems to have been filling Llewellyn's eyes starts to radiate this deep, dark purple. As you stick your hand through the bar, you feel Llewellyn's tremendous strength. He rips his left hand from one of the shackles that is holding him in and grabs your arm and pulls you right up against the bar of the cage. With his other hand, you see that shadow magic that you had seen just around when Rakluwanji descended onto your ship. And as you're being brought towards the cage, his arm swings through the bars, and that's the last thing that Odyssey sees. There's a moment, a flash, where Odyssey, as he's going in and out, his blood running across the floor, he looks at the sigil that had been carved into the ground for the ritual beforehand. Blood leaking out of his head, consciousness fading. He hears a tremendous explosion and a scuffle. And the croissant falls out of his hand and scatters across the ground.
I think his last thoughts before losing consciousness are hopeful about his friends and the success of this mission, and he genuinely believes that Llewellyn is still in there and recoverable, and that the team is successfully going to recover Llewellyn.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us for our season opener of the Concord Illuminati. I've been your GM, Molly. Thank you so much from me, from DJ Adorablue. Make sure you follow her on all socials. From Scarlett, what a wonderful character. We had so much fun with Odyssey. And what a great way to put kind of a button on this. Thank you so much from Isabel. Make sure that you are checking out if you want a GM to like run one of your games, this is the girl for you. And you'll be lucky if you can get her because she's over there. She is that way. Because she's in high demand. But you'd be so lucky. So thank you so much from all of us here, and we will see you in just a couple weeks. Thanks.